Hey everyone, it's Kara here. I was looking at some of your comments on some of my videos, and I was asked a question about someone interested in starting out doing a bikini competition and just wasn't really sure what to do or where to start. So I thought this was a good question to do a video on, especially since this is actually one of the main reasons why I started this channel. Was when I first started doing bikini competitions, I was pretty clueless as to what I was doing, what the girls do when they go on stage, and I wasn't really sure, what to expect. And I remember looking on YouTube, and at the time, maybe I wasn't searching the right stuff, but I really couldn't find a lot of information. So that was one of the main reasons why I started this channel. In terms of starting out with competing, whether it's bikini, physique, bodybuilding, figure, whatever you're doing, one of the first things I would suggest is start looking up some information on clean eating and maybe taking a look at your diet. As far as I've seen, any trainers you go to or any plans you look up online, for competing, the diet is very strict, very disciplined, some more than others, but they usually all follow the same basic guidelines when it comes to clean eating. Ends up being, frequent meals throughout the day, a lot of lean proteins, a lot of, whole grains like brown rice, oats, things like that, and a lot of dark greens. Some meal plans even cycle your carbohydrates, things like that. So that would be my first suggestion, would be kind of looking at clean eating, maybe trying to follow clean eating yourself for a little bit before you sign up for a competition, just to make sure that you can do it, because the diet sometimes can be the biggest issue for some people, or the biggest barrier. I think that's the hardest part for me personally, is the diet. So I would take a look at that. I would also suggest trying to find like a trainer, or depending on what gym you work out at, or maybe you just work out at home, either looking online or finding some kind of support or someone that you can go to for guidance with your workouts and your diet. For me personally, I've done it both ways. I've done it with and I've done it without. And I think for your first time, it is really helpful to have the information and the guidance of someone who's been involved in competing, not necessarily in bikini, but some type of involvement in the sport can be very helpful, because it is such a unique sport that having those people kind of on your side can really kind of get you prepared for it. I definitely found it helpful because I worked with Jeremy Freeman, and him and his wife had a ton of involvement. He's pro bodybuilder. His wife was with him through all of it. She even judged many shows. So they really gave me a lot of good advice and really prepared me for what I was about to go into. It can be a little harsh, you train to be and look your best, and you usually do, and sometimes it's just not good enough. So that can be really tough. I mean, it can be really harsh. Sometimes the judges, may or may not have nice things to say, and for how hard you work, sometimes it can feel, really unsatisfying towards the end if you don't win. So I think there's a big kind of mental aspect of this sport that you really have to prepare yourself for, and you really need to have a tough skin to be able to go out there and, show off your body almost nude on a stage being critiqued. Especially as women, it can be hard for us, in the bikini division, competing against how many other females that also look, amazing. It can be intimidating, so I think you got to know that going into it, and having people who can kind of give you that information and guide you along will make you feel more confident going into the sport. So, and having people who can help you just kind of tweak things along the way, I think is very helpful. When I was doing it on my own, I did well, and I, had a good time doing it on my own, knowing I was doing it on my own, but ultimately I'm going back to looking for guidance and having someone there for support, just for checking in on me to keep me accountable, for me helps. So it's very disciplined, so I think it's good to know all that going into it. The other thing I would say too is just start looking around online. YouTube has a ton of videos out there now, so start looking at competitions. Just start checking those out and taking a look at what people do on stage, depending on what division you're looking at entering. Kind of get an idea of what might be your fit. In terms of females, bikini, they say is a softer look, but I don't know if that's even right anymore. I mean, some of the girls look to have almost as much muscle as the figure girls. So what the judges are looking for, I'm not about to sit here and tell you guys that, because it can be all across the board. So bikini, they do say slightly more feminine, kind of looks like the fitness magazine girls, whereas figure does have a lot more muscle, leaner kind of look, and the posing for those two is different. Bikini is a little more kind of flirty and simple, whereas figure, you really need to know how to show off your back muscles and things like that. Physique is newer for women as well as men. It's pretty much a step down from bodybuilding for women, so it's that in between bodybuilding and figure for those women that just have too much muscle to be in figure but not big enough to be in bodybuilding. That's kind of where men and women fit in that physique category, so that one's fairly new. There's also fitness. That's a division where that one's just crazy. You got to be super strong. I think you do a whole routine as well as show off your body. So there's all different types out there. There's the natural divisions as well as divisions where they aren't natural. So they're not going to test you for drug use. Again, I compete in the one that's not natural. I don't use drugs, but you know, it's not to say that some bikini girls may not use that stuff to help enhance them. I'm really not sure. It just seems though that that's the one that gets a little more publicity for the shows. So I guess my biggest advice to you guys would be to take a look online, kind of get an idea of what you're looking at entering and if it's a good time in your life, because it is almost like a full-time job when you train for these things. Sometimes you're training morning and night. I've heard of some people who train 3 times a day, and you're also eating your diet to a T. You don't really have a lot of room for going out and eating out at restaurants. So you really have to make sure it's going to be a good fit for the time of your life as well. It's kind of like a full-time job. So just kind of take a look at what's going on in your life and if you think you're ready for it. And you know, it seems like half the guys and girls that come to my site and watch my videos, you guys are already really interested in fitness. Some of you, I've checked out your videos, you already have amazing physiques yourself. Why not try and do a show? I mean, I really encourage people to do one, especially you've already worked so hard. I mean, go showcase it off. You know, what's it gonna hurt? I mean, it really does feel pretty amazing to get out on stage and do something that most people can't say they've done before. So for you guys who already look amazing, take a look and sign up for a show. I think you should. So I guess that's just kind of a quick rundown of me spewing out information. Hopefully you guys got something beneficial out of it, and keep asking me questions. That's really why I started this channel, was to help give good information, you know, and make it a little bit easier for you guys. So please keep checking back, send me questions, and I'm going to keep doing videos because it helps motivate me as well. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and keep checking back, please.